Hello and welcome to the second Analog Toys live stream of the day. This was quite unexpected, but this is really what I'm hoping will happen when I move house and I've got the new studio, that I can just jump in and do a live stream. I'm sure all of you here in the chat, or I hope so anyway, just watched the Fan Strike Back consumer call-in show, for want of a better word, on the Retro Blasting YouTube channel. I got some things to say. I got a lot of things to say. Hello to Go Figure, Keith Knight, Ben Stutley, Jesse Hughes, the Epic Badger, King Eric the Greatest of All, Jesse Gurado. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly. Gojatron. Gojatron, 3 words that come to mind after tonight: arrogant, condescending, and tone deaf. Yeah, I found Kevin Sexton to be incredibly condescending. I was getting visibly angry listening to him. It was like watching a baby fall down the stairs. Awful bug. I couldn't look away. It was bad. It was bad. So I think I'll kick this off by telling you my involvement with the Bantha initially. So I had become a big fan of Smith Lord Creation products when Smith Lord Creations was under Chris Smith. The original Han and Stormtrooper disguise that he produced. I'm trying to think of what other figures came out kind of under his tenure with Smith Lord Creations, the company. When it transitioned and the company was sold to the Fan Strike Back, is around, Chris had been kind of talking about the Bantha, and a lot of people bought into the Bantha based on Chris Smith's reputation for making amazing Kenner-styled action figures. I mean, his figures are closer, they're identical to Kenner styling. They even beat Hasbro when Hasbro did their kind of retro collection. Stan Solo, or Smith Lord Creations back then, does a better job. So I also bought into the Bantha. I bought a loose Bantha in August of 2019, I want to say, like 2.5 years ago. I made a video about the Bantha, and then a couple of months later, I was in Thailand on holiday, and I was contacted by the Fan Strike Back announcing the what was it? The next 13 or the 13? The 13 unreleased figures from A New Hope. The Fan Strike Back approached this channel as well as Retro Blasting and a number of other channels, asking us to promote this venture. And what they would do in exchange is that we would have a promo code in the description of our video where our audience could get, I don't know, it was a 5 or 10% discount on the product. So I made a video. I'm pretty sure Michael made a video. I did that based on the reputation of Smith Lord Creations, which, with hindsight, I look back now, and that was Chris Smith's reputation, not Smith Lord Creations. It was that man's reputation. Someone had bought a reputation, but they could not produce, deliver the same quality of product, the same quantity of product, and they certainly couldn't meet the same kind of deadlines as what Chris Smith could. This started to become evident. Trying to think how long it was, 6 months, 8 months, and there was not a lot of progress on either of the projects. I can't remember when it was, but after a while, I took the video down. The video that I had made, and I just kind of sat back, and I was having, the sporadic conversations with Michael French in the background about this, and at the time we were both very much, we'll be the captains who go down with the ship kind of thing, and we'll be the last ones to leave, and a lot of things kind of happened since then. Yesterland Toys, what's up, guys? Is this the after show to the Retro Blasting? I suppose you could call it that, but I was at one time a paying customer of the Bantha as well. I have a level of investment in this whole situation, and I just want to share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. The first of which is something that Kieran Eric, the greatest of all, brings up here. At the end, Chris had the nerve to say that Michael French's opinion didn't matter. What actually happened, I'm going to pull up their website and I'm going to read this because I don't want to misquote this. What actually happened, obviously the start of the show, there was a lot of issues getting audio connected with the guests and stuff. But once that was kind of figured out and the show eventually kind of started with Thomas from Liar Convoy Reviews moderating, Chris Cran mentioned that he had just updated the backthebantha.com website that day. I went straight over to the website to have a look. And I'm going to read the statement word for word. This is on the Fan Strike Back website, which also, if you type in backthebantha.com, it takes you to the same page. The Bantha lives. We want to apologize, not for anything done by the Fan Strike Back or Smith-Lord Creations or the Bantha sculptor Kevin Sexton. We want to apologize for starting to buy into the one bad review. Every word we've gotten as feedback before and after the slanted, biased, negative review has been overwhelmingly positive. We want to apologize that the review is filled with incorrect and fabricated information. We want to apologize that a review filled with incorrect and fabricated information started to make us question our product. We have been heartened by the response and have created this page to clear up misconceptions and falsehoods currently being spread as facts about our Bantha. Let's answer those questions along with a look at the finished product, then you can decide for yourself. And as you go down, there are no other positive reviews from anybody else, from anyone independent. There are two videos on links to videos on the Fan Strike Back's own YouTube channel doing a shock test of the Bantha. They probably glued the legs in place. I don't know. It's very staged. And another video about easy saddle removement and replacement. We're like 10 minutes into the stream when this happens. And I immediately messaged Michael French and said, have you read the update on the website? And he said, no, what's happened? The stream has already started. Michael's in a position now where he can't just end the live stream. I shared a screenshot of this statement where they're saying that Michael's review was slanted and biased and filled with incorrect and fabricated information. I believe the one argument they're kind of hinging on here is the fact that it is made in a factory. Yeah, it's made in a factory, a resin silicone factory. They said tonight that it's not made with a steel mold. It's not injection molded plastic. It is not like Kenner would have made it. To say that Michael presented incorrect or fabricated information because no, it is actually made in possibly the tiniest factory in the world because they can only produce 20 a week. it's really disappointing. I felt like after Michael French had given his channel, offered his channel as a platform for a company that has really not done him any favors. He offered his channel as a platform so that they could, to the widest audience, publicly engage their consumers and address the situation. 10 minutes into that stream, they stabbed him in the back. They questioned his integrity, which is something that Chris Cran in the recorded phone conversation said that he would never, ever do, is question Michael's honesty and integrity. And after the probably 7 years I've been watching the guy on YouTube, and for the last 4 years that I've been friends with him, he has never given me any reason to question his integrity, his honesty. And here they are doing exactly that because they're saying he's slanted and biased. It is utterly, utterly disgusting behavior. Never mind what's gone on with the Bantha, the way they've treated an independent YouTube channel who was a paying customer. Like, they weren't even getting a free Bantha to review, to try and promote, which does happen with YouTube channels. You get free product at times. No, Michael paid for his Bantha. He gave an honest review. And then they come out in the middle of a live stream where his channel is hosting them. Okay, Michael wasn't on the stream, but his channel is hosting them. And they say, oh, hey, we've just updated our website. And you go over there and they stabbed him in the back. Disgusting. Okay, let me catch up with a bit of the chat here. He told the first caller that he was basically wrong, that his delivered Crantha didn't fall over. So I'm laughing at the expression Crantha, not the situation that this upset customer is in. Yeah, that's condescending behavior. At the end of the day, a consumer has rights to a refund if a product is faulty or if it is not as described. This is not as described. Could you imagine buying a new oven for your kitchen that's made out of plastic, and the first time you turn it on, it melts, and the company you bought the oven from says, well, this was a Kickstarter. You can't get your money back. I'm going to get into that whole Kickstarter thing in a minute. But the product is not as described. It is not as Kenner intended. It is not injection molded plastic. It's cross-eyed. There are just so many things going wrong here. I would be very interested to see that they say here, every word that we've gotten as feedback before or after the slanted, biased, negative review has been overwhelmingly positive. I can tell from the photographs, Chris Cran and Kevin Sexton, that this Bantha is cross-eyed, janky, homemade, does not have that production. It might be made in a factory, but it is not Kenner factory quality. You can count this as another review that's not positive if these are the only two reviews. I'd like to see where the other overwhelmingly positive reviews are, because this thing looks like a burnt chocolate cake. Jim Largo, thank you. He said, it's obvious from the Retroblasting review that one Bantha is far superior to the other. The one from the Fan Strike Back is inferior quality and not what was promised. That's the main thing, not what is promised. What was promised. So much of which has changed over the last 2.5 years with updates to refund policies, whether this was a pre-order or a Kickstarter. When you commit to a purchase like this, as I did in August 2019, I pre-ordered a Bantha. I was not told it was a Kickstarter. Wasn't told it had to be fully funded, anything like that. The goalposts have changed. That's fraudulent behavior. And I highly recommend anybody who has purchased a Bantha and either hasn't received it or doesn't want to receive it, lodge a complaint with the Better Business Bureau in your state and in the state where the Fans Strike Back are located. Unfortunately, I can't tell you the state. Or can I? I have locations here. Consumers have rights, and you're entitled to these rights. So, Pennsylvania, there you go. Make your complaint in Pennsylvania. I think, well, there's a lot of locations on here. Catch up with some more chat. Yeah, or the oven couldn't stand straight, plumb, level. It was cross-eyed. Chris Smith, good to see you, mate. Hey, Tony, Stan Solo here. And by the way, Michael is pretty much the only one that's stuck by Kran. Also, that first customer said his Bantha does not stand up, and Kran said you were wrong. Yeah, that's the customer is always right. And at the end of the day, just the guy's not happy with his product, and you're telling him, well, you should be. And I'll get on to some of the other stuff that was said later in the stream. It's absolutely absurd that a company will not refund a defective or not as advertised product. I wouldn't say absurd. It's illegal. Totally unacceptable, especially for the high price. Yeah, the last comment that I think I made in the live chat was right towards the end there, where Kevin Sexton was telling people, stop being picky. This is a $250 premium price toy. $189 if you get a loose one, because a cardboard box is worth $70. At $189 US dollars, that's $250 Australian. And I'm not going to be picky. Man, I'm picky with a $26 G.I. Joe Classified. Although people say that I'm biased, I am picky with Action Force. I said in my video that I wasn't happy that the Scarab didn't come with a magazine pouch on his leg. That's how picky I am. We collect, most collectors have OCD, we're picky. And to say for a $250, $180 toy, even a $100 toy, to not be picky. No. Gojatron says, Sexton ended the stream by blaming the fans for being toxic. Something right out of the Disney playbook. It's not our fault that our product sucks. It's yours. This really, really bothered me, okay? Because of my experience with the Fans Strike Back, I've now had a number of occasions where I've had to refuse to promote Kickstarters for people. I can't review or endorse a product unless someone has a track record, like a Bobby Valor or Chris Smith. I can't endorse a product until I have it in hand, because I've been burnt by this. You know, through this company, I offered my audience a 10% discount. And now they either don't have one product, which is, 13 products, or they have a product that they're not happy with. So I've had to change my policy of the way I interact with fan-made projects. The other thing is that myself and Michael French are probably two of the most outspoken pro-repro Star Wars channels around. Been fighting the corner of companies like Stan Solo Creations and Pro Customs, and even just making individual videos about the behavior of the anti-repro crowd. Their failures with this project, he's blaming this community's horrible. It's because you let customers down. And all of the efforts that me and Michael have put in place to combat the anti-repro crowd over the last several years have been severely damaged by the behavior that's gone on behind closed doors at the Fan Strike Back. Scott Hughes, thank you for being here, mate. I know that Scott Hughes was actually at Toylanta with Michael French. Says Tony, the Bantha that Michael has is not a sample of one. I was at Toylanta and saw the Bantha that Kevin was showing off. It was as janky as the one Michael has. There you go. He saw it in person. Busy chat. Let me catch up a minute here. Here we go. Scott Hughes again. On another note from Toylanta, I sat in on the same panel hosted by Kevin Sexton. That guy is like the ShamWham guy. I don't know ShamWham. Hopefully Americans know that reference. I can interpret. I've not seen a lot of people that are more full of themselves as he is. Yeah, and he very much, at the end of the live stream on Retroblasting, started to make himself out to be a victim. And that, he was the only one trying. Well, no, Chris Smith has tried to get a Kenner quality Bantha into collectors' hands, and he's actually done that. And he did that in 6 months. I know Kevin might have had the best of intentions. I'm not saying that he didn't, but he has failed and is too proud to admit that he has failed his customers. He has failed the Fan Strikes Back customers. Yeah, very, very disappointing. Yesaland Toys, I stated they were frauds. They effing defrauded the customer. All they have to do is apologize in a minute, but Chris didn't, and therefore he's utterly. He's a bad business operator. Yeah. I mean, there was a moment when Kevin Sexton said he sits back and he was talking about trolls, and he's like, he sits back at the comment and he just laughs at you all. They're not trolls, Kevin. They're paying customers who are disappointed with the product that they invested their money in 2.5 years ago. And this is not what was promised. You just laughed at paying customers that you've let down. A PR disaster. Yes, it is. Jesse says he's very picky when it comes to buying things. I think a lot of people are, like in today's society. I mean, with oil prices going through the roof and the cost of daily living, we have to be picky. We have to be picky with what we buy. Especially when it comes to a $250 toy. Will McLaughlin, he said if they're not scammers, they would have explained that they were in over their heads. Look, I've got to be honest here. I don't believe that Chris Cran set out to scam people. I don't believe that was ever his intention. But I believe now he's in a position where wherever the money's gone. He can't refund people. And he's trying to convince consumers that a resin poor Bantha in a highly durable silicon mold, was that the terminology Kevin used? He said he was assuming, but then he was very specific about what he said he thought it was. I think it's partly pride, and that they're trying to present an argument that their Bantha is actually not as bad as Michael said, when it clearly is. I don't think they're set up to scam people, but I think they got in way over their heads. This is what happens when, and Chris Smith is a real exception here. I have this conversation with Bobby several times, but this is what happens when toy fans, toy collectors decide to become toy makers overnight and they have no experience in the business. Prior to the Fan Strike Back purchasing Smith Lord Creations, the vast majority of their product was brought in from elsewhere. They weren't actually creating the product. And they basically purchased a reputation when they purchased Smith Lord Creations. Whoa. Joe Fleming, thank you for the super chat. It says, Viva Stan Solo. I realise I've missed a lot of chat here. Brendan Haley says, I don't think it was rude to ask how many are sold. We expect numbers from other companies, i.e. cars, as it helps work. As I understand it, about 350 Banthas were sold. That equates to about $100,000. Bobby L. Collins, the bottom line is that the final product doesn't look anything like the proof of concept. That's not just fraud, but also false advertising. Both are crimes. Yes. 100%. Now, I'm not going to stream here for too long because I've got I'm doing a pre-recorded stream on Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse, who is in the chat. Hello, Zazel. Looking forward to catching up with you in about, a bit over an hour. So I've got a few things to do, so I'm not going to stream for too long. The final thing I really want to address, Ben Stutley, unfortunately, yes. And at this point, I encourage the people who purchased a Bantha to pursue legal action. And that's probably going to get me blocked. I'm probably already blocked from all of their social media because that sounds like a threat in their eyes. Threatening legal action is not the same as threatening somebody physically. It's a very, very different situation. Unfortunately, I think the only course of action now is legal action. I want to address the fact that this went from a pre-order to a Kickstarter, because this is the point of contention that I had with Chris Cran when I was trying to get my refund. I really, really wanted to pre-order Wave 1 of the Valaverse Action Force line the beginning of last year. At the time, I didn't have a lot of disposable income. It had been 18 months since the Bantha debacle. I got very, very frustrated, and there was a lot of back and forth between me and Chris Cran. I remember for several days with me just demanding a refund. I want a refund. I want a refund. And him giving me all these excuses under the sun why he couldn't give me a refund. And that it's because this is a Kickstarter. Well, the thing is, with a Kickstarter, especially if you go through a reputable Kickstarter website along the lines of Kickstarter.com, when you do that, you have to be transparent with what your goal is. It shows there on the website, how many backers you need, what the funding target is in dollar value. There is a deadline, and when you don't meet that deadline, if it gets to the deadline and the Kickstarter hasn't been funded, everyone gets returned their money. You don't keep continually changing the goalpost, keeping the money, delaying people. I'm sure you had reasons, but unfortunately, as a responsible business owner, you have to carry the can for this. You should be offering refunds via PayPal or credit card refunds to whoever it was. I know you can do it because you gave me a refund. It's what you have to do at this point. Sarah Hewitt says, I don't think these guys set out to scam. They just got caught in an undertow and dragged further and further down. And instead of asking for help and admitting their mistake, they doubled down. Yeah, that's kind of what I think, Sarah. And unfortunately, it's at a point now where the customers are losing out. And I'm sure it's going to be beyond damaging, beyond devastating to their business. I don't know. What do they do? File for bankruptcy? They have to do it at this point. Michael Bassett, do you think the Fan Strike Back can recover from this, or is this the beginning of the end for them? This is the end. This is the end. They cannot recover. James Salzberg, Analog Toys, do you have a modern Action Man carded desert uniform for your desert rack? I don't know which one you're talking about. Thank you for the kind offer. I'm here to talk about the Bantha at the moment. Random American, at this point, it has become a scam rather than admitting fault and all of that kind of stuff. They have now turned this. So I don't think they intended to. Now they are drowning, paddling, trying to keep their head above water. And the only way they can do that is just blatantly denying honest reviews like the one on Retro Blasting by telling paying customers that they're wrong about their opinion of the product that they have in their hand. They've got a faulty product and they're just going, well, no, you don't. It's not how it works. Yes, Scuba Pete. The title of this live stream is The Fans Must Strike Back. And I'm going to basically close here because from what I've seen, the things they've said, their behavior, there is no way out of this now. Laser Pants, 100% honesty on their part would have been so much better than what they're doing right now. Yeah. Yeah, and a long time ago as well. A long time ago. Ben Sutley, I agree. Tonight's Retrobusting live stream will devastate that business forever. Full stop. I feel for them if they got in a muddle, but there was no way to recover. I don't want to see anyone lose their business, but this is not Retro Blasting's fault, and it is definitely not the customer's fault. If you run your business badly, it's going to all fall over. That's it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I need to get ready for another live stream, but yes, Keith. Exactly. I got my refund. I wish everyone else did. It's a sickening situation, and yeah. Okay. Thank you all for being here, and stay tuned for some time later in the week. I don't know exactly when. I am recording a live stream in about an hour's time. Me and Laser Pants are both guesting on Sergeant Slaughter Slaughterhouse with, I believe, Zazel Phoenix, the host of the show, Ken from Toy Connections, and I believe Slaughter Daughter as well. And I'm excited to meet her and have a chat with her. So we record that on StreamYard, but it's not a live stream. Sergeant Slaughterhouse likes to edit the stream and upload it later in the week. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to go and get some lunch. I've got some messages to respond to. And I'll see you soon. I need to cough as well and drink. Okay, guys. Take care for now. Cheers.